Hey disc golfers, this is Matt Dollar, and I'm here today with round 3 of the 20th anniversary HOTLANTA tournament. This year it was held at McCurry Park and JP Moseley. And so today this is the chase card, and Josh Childs will be leading us off on hole number 2 at JP Moseley. Hole 2 is, I believe, the shortest hole in the course, and Josh took one of the straighter lines at it. That's Brian GORT there following him up with the lefty thumber. Most people tend to throw the thumber down the left side, like I did. And here's the fourth member of our card, James Cole, also known as Snappy. Snappy's going with a thumber, with a Glow Champion Firebird.
Yeah, 20. Snappy with a thumber.
Some pretty good tee shots there. It's kind of a fast green when you're throwing into it because it's downhill. GORT went a little far past. I think most of his was a roll, though. He threw a pretty good shot.
Although my level of difficulty is looking a little more.
So Josh is looking at about 18 feet here. First putt of the day.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That was a pretty tough putt right
Josh
there.
is definitely not happy with that one. He's been having a little bit of trouble putting on the first hole today, but seems to get it back real quick.
Good putt.
And his comebacker there was probably just as far as the first putt. So we move on to hole 3. That was a felon I went with off the tee right there. Hole 3, I love the line. I love the shape of the hole. You gotta throw it down maybe 150 feet before you turn left. And that is the perfect gap right there.
Sure, we'll
The only problem with
thanks
this
for
hole,
asking.
once you hit that first gap, it's totally hit or miss if you get all the way to the basket because there's a bunch of trees left in the fairway. If the fairway was a little more clean after you hit the initial gap down there, I would definitely enjoy this hole more. It would probably be one of my favorite holes in the course. If you see GORT's face right there, he obviously early released, but was able to find some kind of miracle inside route to get him down there. So I'm looking at a straddle putt here, and I kind of have to hyzer around that tree just a hair. Going with the spike. Looks like I had the right line, but just got a little too low. There's GORT for his birdie. He actually skipped pretty far past it. So Snappy's the last one with a chance at birdie here. Good putt from Snappy, puts him 2 down through 2. The rest of us will settle in for par. So JP Moseley is one of my favorite courses in Georgia. It's got one of the best mixes of hole types that you'll see. So we're starting out here in the woods. These are all, the shortest of the holes are also these wood holes. This is hole number 4, and it's a really weird hole. It's a really hard right turn. Snappy and I kind of went with the same shot. There's actually an inside route that a lot of people try to go just to the right of that tree. But that shot's more for forehanding and thumbers. The backhanders, if you want to park it, you got to go to the outside of the first tree and then quickly to the inside.
That's
not an easy hole to park at all. I went with the compass off the tee there and threw one of my better tee shots on this hole. But if you hit the initial gap and start to turn right, but you're too deep, you hit one of the trees and you're left with basically the upshot that GORT and Josh had there. So they both chipped up there and will get their 3s. Snappy putting for a 2 to start out with a turkey. Nice turkey from Snappy. To get all 3 of those holes to start is pretty darn good. I tapped in for my birdie there, 2 out of the first 3. The thing with hole 2 is pretty easy, but hole 3 and hole 4 both have those late trees in the fairway, so if you get both of them, you're doing good. Hole number 5 is probably about 280 feet. It's just straight ahead, tunnel shot.
I shot that.
Snappy goes with the DX rock, throws it right up the middle. I'm gonna go with a spark thumber here. That worked out as good as the thumber can on this one. I usually go backhand on this hole, but when I was practicing on Friday, I realized that it's a pretty easy thumber line to give me a putt. Gort goes with the lefty thumber. And I think the same reason basically that I was throwing one, just to kind of play it safe, but hold it just a little. If you hit one of these early trees, it is just death trying to get up to the basket.
Here we go.
I went a little bit past the basket and over to the right, so this is what I have left for birdie. I was about to putt forward there, and kind of ran into something in my back, so I stopped.
Good hit.
That was the judge that I was putting with there.
Yes, thank you.
And Snappy taps in for his birdie. Josh Childs just pured an old beat up Saint right to the pin on that one for his birdie.
Yes, sir.
So Snappy on hole number 6 throws a beautiful shot with his rock. Hole 6 is a weird hole too. You have to turn really hard right to begin with and then come out. So I threw a Justice.
A little more better.
And basically pretended like I was trying to throw a roller. And it cut right into the line and flexed right to the basket. What happened to Josh there, and what also happens to Gort right here, is what happens to most people. You throw the shot, you think it's going to be tight enough, and it almost never is.
Great out. Nice roll, buddy.
That is just a miracle out from Josh, because it's tough back in there. Beautiful forehand roller. You don't see that very often from Josh.
You're in range for you.
But when you're in the woods, you got to do what you got to do to get out of there. So Gort needs this long one here just to save his par.
Hit.
Gives it a really good bid. Dead center high. So Snappy to go for 5 birdies in a row to start. May have a tree slightly in his way, but a pretty good look. Yeah, that's what I was afraid of, that there was just a little bit too much low ceiling there. So Snappy's going to miss a hole finally. Josh is trying to save his par. It's just a hair high, so Josh and Gort will both take bogeys here. Snappy's got to make this just to get his par. Still 4 down through 5 is a really, really good start here. Gort taps out for bogey, and that's my Justice right there beside the basket.
I mean, mid-range, sorry. I would have to.
So that also gives me a 4 down through 5 hole start. Hole number 7 is another right turning hole. And the roller's a pretty good choice there. The basket was right by the big tree that I rolled in front of, so it was one of my better rollers on this hole. Snappy, I believe, is maybe going to go with a roller. It looks like he has a rock in his hand, though. It is very, very rare that you see anyone just throw a right-hand, backhand air shot on this hole. Josh Childs goes for the sidearm. I believe that's a giant. Threw a great line, but came in a little early. It's hard to get enough momentum and get under those branches and still skip forward. Gort pulls out the sidewinder and goes with the roller here. Beautiful looking shot. It might have went just a hair deep. So Snappy actually got a pretty good look out of his air shot. It's a long putt, probably about 40, 45 feet, but it's got something. Snappy really seems to be focusing on trying to eliminate some of the hyzer from his putt. Pretty good bid there. Snappy's one of the best throwers of the disc that there is, especially in the southeast. If he can ever get completely dialed into his putting, then he's going to be a force to be reckoned with. So Josh is looking at a really nasty little line here. He showed it to me afterwards. Basically, he's got to putt something straight out to the right side and then hyzer around a tree with a branch in the way. And that's just an absolutely great putt. Josh went with the soft spike there. That's his trick putter, so he says. Gort hit that one pretty good. These old dirty Mach 3s just don't catch that great. So Snappy gets his par. Gort's going to be stuck with his par. Had a couple chains crossed up right there. Went and straightened them out before they spit me out. Oh, this is the look from Josh's line. So he actually had to go around that leaning branch. So anyway, hole number 8. This is the beginning of the par 5s. Hole 8 is the easiest par 5 on this course. It's a beautiful hole though. You really got to put one out there pretty far if you want to have any kind of chance at getting an eagle, but that's really only reserved for the big arms. I don't believe there were any 3s this weekend. So when you throw this shot, if you go into that stuff on the left, then you're in deep trouble. And if you hit these trees on the right here, there's an OB frog pond right behind it. So Snappy just unleashed one right there, and I'm pretty sure that was just a T-bird. I'm not sure what Gort's going with here. Maybe a wraith.
Nice shot.
Looks like a pretty darn good shot, though.
Good shot.
Thank you. Trade you.
No. So I was way further back than I wanted to be, and they actually created an OB line to the right of the gap that we're throwing through here, and I think I was just thinking about staying away from that and ended up throwing it just right into the shoal. So not very happy with my first 2 shots on this hole because I want to birdie this one every time. Gort pumps that wraith out there again. A beautiful line. There's the basket you can see. There's also a path that goes around in front of the basket and behind the basket, and it is OB. Not path and beyond because it plays through the middle of the hole, but just the path itself plays like a river. Speaking of rivers, there's also a little creek. You see that bridge short of the basket, but they're actually not playing the creek OB in this tournament. Usually that creek is OB. So I'm stuck in the side here. I'm throwing a big sidearm flex shot with a stiletto. And that actually turned out way better than I could have hoped for, so. Snappy in his Curious George outfit with the sweet pink hat with Pokemon pins is looking to throw one up there. So we were all surprised that Snappy didn't go for the green on his second shot, being that he threw it so far off the tee, but he played very smart and safe and got a very easy birdie. As did Josh. Josh got himself an easy birdie too there. And Gort throws a pretty good one. Everyone's looking at birdie except for me. I actually have a kind of a tight little window to throw through, so I'm just trying to get up there and save my par.
Get up.
Soft C-ness for the upshot. Snappy with a birdie. Snappy is very good at the par 5s on this course. He's one of the only people I've ever seen eagle the next hole, hole number 9, which is also a par 5. There's Josh ripping one off the tee on hole number 9. We had pretty big headwind on this one. It's kind of a head cross, and you have a little bit of low ceiling there off the tee and a hump right in front of you, so it's hard to get the right amount of air on this hole these days. Snappy crushed one there, of course. There's also a Mando on this hole. The tree on the left side of your screen, there's a little white thing on there. It's actually a really giant Mando sign, but the ivy is kind of taking over on it, or kudzu, I'm not sure what it is on that tree. I turned my defender over a little bit there, but still in the open field. Just a little short of where you want to be to have a good shot to get you up on the green for birdie on this one. Gort's pulling his a little wide, but it stays on this side of that silt fence, and as long as you do that, you're in position to at least have a chance at birdie. So Snappy almost drove it to the path. He's got a really good angle here. Now he doesn't try to really crush it, and that's smart because if you get up a little further than where he went, there's a frog pond that's OB on this. If you don't know what a frog pond is, basically it's just a artificially made OB area defined by rocks, and they let the vegetation grow inside of it. So sure enough, there are frogs hanging around there. So after my not too great of a second shot, I was stuck with just a really weird forehand, and I went with the spark there, my moonshine spark. Here's Snappy throwing his third shot, and the best one of the group when it comes to trying to get a birdie, that's for sure. The rest of us are not having the greatest hole here. Ford's got a long one, putting for birdie. Just lays it up for his 5. Josh has also got a long putt here. Josh is putting with the Warden Moseley. He does go to that spike some. I'm putting with the Judge here. Pretty good line, just a hair low, so I'll have to settle for a par. As will GORT and Josh. And Snappy's got a chance for birdie.
Oh, come on.
And that's how dirty Mach 3s are. I mean, like I said, Snappy putts with hyzer, so that's going to happen sometimes, but I mean, that just sliced through like hot butter. He didn't putt it hard or anything, so tough break for Snappy. Should have been a birdie there. This is hole number 10, probably the hardest par 3 on the course. And you kind of just have to smash one up the middle. There's a double mando. And you just hope you don't hit one of these few trees in front of you. Snappy hit one dead in the middle. GORT also hits one of those middle ones. I try to aim the left side here because there's only one tree over there. And I figure if I aim right at it, I'll probably miss it just a little to either side, but I actually smacked it both rounds in the tournament this weekend. So I still have probably 350 to the pin. Went with a spark. It didn't really have a lot of room above me to throw it high and get a big flex out. So came up quite a bit short there. Snappy's going with a Firebird backhand on his upshot. Almost skipped it in, it looked like, but it's probably still a little short. Tough to get all the way up there. GORT's going to go with a lefty thumber. GORT throws righty backhand, but he is an actual left-hander in real life. But he played a lot of baseball, so this is natural for him to have that righty backhand type swing. So GORT's looking at bogey. Josh, pounded that giant out there, so he's got a chance for birdie. And the rest of us were just trying to save par. It's taking quite a bit of time on this one, but this is a really big birdie if you get it. This is our 9th hole of the round, so it will be the last hole of this video. Just misses left side. Man, Mach 3s just do not like anything that hits a little off left or right, that's for sure. Unless you just ring it in there with very little chains like GORT did. So, GORT and myself will settle for bogey, Snappy will get the par, and Josh will tap in for his par, which will bring us to the end of the front 9 of this video. and we will return with the back nine, and we'll also have coverage of round 4. So thanks for watching, and thanks to Latitude 64 for their support, and Carla Seward for filming. Please subscribe to my channel. Thanks, guys.